Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm kind of breaking from my normal shows and episodes to talk about something that is really, really important. Um, I don't usually get really serious like this during these, but I feel compelled to. I keep getting all these messages from the universe that it is time to talk about this. So I'm just going to put it out there. And I just heard about a new organization today that I'm going to encourage people to get involved with. Um, but here's what I want to talk about. My idea a few weeks ago was to do another show, and I don't really want to do another show right now about this. Um, so I'm going to do a few episodes on this, and this is going to be the first one. And the topic is very simple. It's enough. Enough of judging people by the color of their skin, their sexual orientation, their religion. We're all neighbors on this planet. We are all part of the same body. It's like the right index fingers telling the pinky finger that it's wrong for being so short. All of these things that divide us do nothing but tear us down. And there's so much negativity going on. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't know how to fully deal with and explore our feelings, and especially men. I am proud to be a man, but embarrassed at times to be a part of this maleness that's going on in our society. I'm just so tired of this alpha male bravado ego type thing that's out there. I'm sure you've heard about that study that was done and this thing that went viral about women being asked the question, if you were alone in the woods, would you rather come across a bear or a man? And overwhelmingly, women are saying the bear. I'm embarrassed to be a man when that's the answer to that question. Guys, we need to wake the F up. We need to stop this male ego alpha bullshit. It's time to stop. It's ruining our society, this greed and power, thinking that that's what's going to bring you happiness. It doesn't. All it does is it breeds more wanting of more greed and more power. When that's the goal, it's never enough. And we have example after example after example of that, from Putin to political figures to everywhere in society. We see this, and it's time. We need to evolve past this. And it's time for men to wake up. And it's time to stop all this BS that's going on out there. And it's time to stop the violence towards women and the degrading of women and the disrespectfulness of women. They're our counterpart. If it wasn't for them, none of us would be here. It's time to start respecting them and honoring them for their contribution to our society. And this bullshit of women need to be in the home and women need to, I remember, one of my first memories in school was my third grade teacher, Miss Myers. She was amazing. And it was back at a time when women were either supposed to be secretaries, nurses, or teachers, or stay at home with the kids. And Miss Myers chose to be a teacher. And thank God she was. Women weren't supposed to be CEOs, and they weren't supposed to be engineers and astronauts and doctors and lawyers. And I really believe that if Miss Myers was an adult today, she would be the CEO of a major corporation. She was brilliant. She was intuitive. She was empathetic. And even in third grade, I could tell that she was someone really special, but she wasn't allowed to have a career beyond what society told her. That needs to stop. Women need the right to be whoever they want to be. And if they're doing the same job as a man, be paid the same as a man. It's so frustrating. Why? It's like saying a man who's over 6 feet is going to get paid more than a man who's under 6 feet. A man with blonde hair is going to get paid more than a man with black hair. Stop. We need to start treating people with respect. And I really believe that it starts with self esteem when we feel better about who we are and we stop comparing ourselves with others and start treating ourselves like our best friend rather than our worst enemy. When we start doing that and have more respect for ourselves, then we can start having more respect for others. It doesn't happen from the outside in. When we get more respect from others, then we'll have respect for ourselves. It doesn't work. That's like a black hole. It just gets fed and it's never enough. But when we do that for ourselves, then we can start taking it out to others. One of the things I started a campaign on is the we over me. That when I take care of myself, then I start treating others better. Then I start seeing the we as more important. When I take care of and be of service to others, then I can take better care of myself. And sometimes taking care of others is more important. Being of service is one of the keystones of finding happiness. And when I'm of service to others, it helps feed me. It feeds my soul. It feeds my emotional self. So it's time. It's time that we break out of these old patterns and stereotypes. I am a 64-year-old man that says it's time for equality. It's time for equality based on gender, based on religion, based on the color of your skin, based on whether you're straight, gay, trans, LGBTQ plus, whatever you are, to be okay with that. I knew someone years ago, he said to me, when people talk about gay being a choice, it infuriates me because I grew up in this small town in upstate New York. And growing up, I was bullied and beaten up and degraded. I had a horrible middle school and high school existence. I was beat up on a daily basis. If it was a choice, why would I choose that? I had no choice. It was who I was. And isn't it the same for people because they're Jewish, because they're Muslim, because they're Protestant or Catholic rather than Protestant? I mean, come on. God is God. One light, many lampshades. Whatever you choose to believe is okay. And to degrade someone because of what they believe, I believe that God is so powerful. If he only wanted us to have one religion, we'd only have one religion. But instead, God said, I don't really care how you find me as long as you do. And the color of your skin, why is that a determinant? It's time. It's time. It's past time. And what we see today in the United States and around the country when it comes to women's rights, the woman's right to choose. Who am I to tell a woman what to do with her body? That is not my choice. And I'm pretty hopeful about our next generation, the Gen Z. They kind of have a handle on it. And I'm really excited to see what happens when they are the ones in power. These old cronies who are in the Senate and in the House in the United States, they need to go away. They're way past their time, and they're there for greed and power. They forgot long ago that the reason why they wanted to do this job was to be of service to the people that are in their areas. There aren't many of them left. It's about power and it's about greed, and it's time to stop. When I think about, these stories that are breaking now about the insider trading that's done by people who are in the Senate and on both sides of the aisle and in Congress, it's sickening. What is happening? It's time we get back to the fundamentals of taking care of each other and taking better care of ourselves. And I just heard about this thing this morning. It's, what was that called? The Polished Man Project. I saw a picture on Facebook this morning of Chris Hemsworth and Zac Efron, and they had a picture of them with one painted nail. And what that signifies is men organizing and saying, The violence towards women needs to stop. And I don't have any nail polish in the house, or I would have come on today with a polished nail. And I think my daughter might have some upstairs still, but I couldn't find any that was fresh. So I'm going to be doing that when I go out today and go to the store. I'm going to go buy some fingernail polish, and my fingernail will be polished. And I love the story. Go to the Polished Nail Project and see what it's about, or Polished Man Project. I forgot which one it is. I'm like, that I'm not really sure which one it is, but men need to start empowering other men to be respectful of women. It's time. And, I know this from my background as a therapist, and I worked in treatment for a long time. And I worked with a lot of sexual assault survivors. And, what we have found is that sexual assault is not about sex. Sexual assault is about control and power. And that's why men perpetrate that. 96% of sexual assaults and violence towards women are perpetrated by men, which means this is not an issue for women. This is an issue for men. We created it, we caused it, we need to fix it. And how we do that is by creating more respect and men talking to men about this is not okay. Not okay. And that 10 minutes of control and power that a man exerts over a woman affects her for the rest of her life. And it's not cool. And it needs to stop. And men need to talk about men about not assaulting women. It's time. I'm tired of it. I hear these stories and it's just sickening to me. And we need to stop that. I mean, men, think about this. If you were in a room with a man who was 6'4", 250 pounds, all muscle, and he said, I'm going to have sex with you. I am going to take advantage of you. And there is nothing you can do about it. What would you do? What would you say? And a lot of alpha men are like, I would beat him up. I would find a way to fight him off. No, you cannot fight him off. You will be subject to whatever he brings upon you. Think about what that would be like, being so helpless, so frozen in fear that you didn't know what to do. What if you knew him? You knew him for 6 months, and then all of a sudden he turned on you, and you were going to be his sexual toy, and there was nothing you could do to stop him. How would you react? How would you respond? So you think about that's how women react and respond when they're in that situation. And if you have a friend that you know engages in that type of behavior, it is your responsibility to talk to him and say, dude, you can't do that. That is so uncool. Turn him in if it's fresh. If you know what happened years ago, talk to him and say, dude, if I ever hear of you doing this again, I am calling the police. I am turning you in. We need to start protecting each other and protecting women. And we need to, 5 years from now, have another survey. Women, if you were in the forest alone and you came across a man or a bear, which one would you rather face? I pray that we turn that around and women start feeling safer around men than they do around bears. It's time. And it's time for all of us. Enough of this macho male bullshit. Enough control and power. And yeah, getting men to let go of power and control and greed, they're not going to do it willingly. There needs to be enough pressure on them to turn it around. And we need to do that. We over me. We need to be, as a society, take care of the other parts of our body. We might be the left index finger, but we need to take care of the right thumb. We need to take care of the neck, the brain, the toes. We're all one body. We're all one organism. We're all one planet floating around in the cosmos. What an amazing gift to be grateful for that we're here today. And today you get to choose. Do you want to be a part of the problem or do you want to be a part of the solution? That's the choice we make all the time with every choice that comes down. Cashier gives us the wrong amount of change. Do I want to take that change or do I want to let him know? You know, I'm apartment hunting right now. I'm looking for another place to live, and I'm going to be taking my dog with me. And I went to this place and I was talking to them. They said, "Do you have a pet?" I said, "Yeah, I'm bringing a dog." Is he a service animal? I said, "No, he's not." And he said, "Well, you're going to get him designated?" I'm like, "No, because he's not a service animal. I don't think it's right that if your dog is not a service animal, to label them a service animal, because it just dilutes what a service animal is and who the service animals are. And I don't think that's cool. So I'm not going to do that. You know, he could be a therapy dog. My little guy is amazing, but he's not. So I'm not going to designate that." He's like, "Oh, I've never heard anybody say that before." I'm like, wouldn't it be great if we could just be honest and do the right thing? Treat ourselves with respect, treat others with respect, and to do the right thing in situations. Cashier gives you too much change. Oh, hey, you gave me too much change. You gave me, $5 too much or 37 cents too much. When we take care of each other, we're doing better for ourselves. So that's my message today. The title of today's program, Enough. It's time. It's time to start treating ourselves and others with the respect that they deserve. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say today. I'm sure there will be more in the future, but that's it for today. I wish you well. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I hope to hear from you or see you. Feel free to send me an email. I love getting your emails. I would love to hear some comments about today. Do you want me to do more of these, less of these? What do you think of this? What's your opinion? How are you feeling about this? What more can I do to be a part of this solution rather than to just kind of wander around wondering what I can do? And you get to be a part of this solution too. So I do have social media out there. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think on YouTube. Please subscribe, comment. Let's get a discussion going. Let's talk about what we can do together. And there are organizations out there like the Polished Man Project or Polished Nail Project, I forgot. Let's get involved. Let's do this. Let's make a better world for ourselves. Let's create safety for the people around us. So I'll see you next time. And until then, take care. Have a good one. Bye.